Alright, I just got these quarters ticks of heat. I'm looking for just a plus 2, a plus 4 at 48.5, and then see if it could walk up and test those highs. But we did get an aggressive buyer at 47.25 and another one at 47.5. So they got to hold quick. Let's see if they defend this spot again in another rotation. This first rotation off this zone went to where? 48.25. So you don't want to press it through there for a... But the long-term idea of this trade is if this market's going to march back up to the highs of this move here, and then maybe the overnight highs, they could use this as support in doing that. Alright, I'm out for a plus 2. On some of these, I'm looking at 48.5 right in here and start to squeeze out the shorts. Now, the whole dynamic of this trade is it went back up to this size the first time, held, came back down, held this size a second time, starting to walk up, slightly squeezing out some shorts that were all excited about going lower in here. They're getting squeezed out here. And as we walk further away from this high volume area, you'll squeeze more out, which could help it go and move back to those 50 evens. On the downside, most importantly, is where would I get out for a loser? My question is, where would you get out for a loser? Because I think my location, market's telling me it was pretty decent, right? Because it pretty much didn't trade any lower than 4. It went 47.25 offer. A big buyer came in. Now, I don't want this market to go down below here a third time. So market structure is telling me to play it a little below here. If you get the notes to finally rotate back lower, it'll bode well for, here we go. Not a big buyer on that uptick, but they're starting to move through the high of the last move, which was in here, 49.5, the top of the range. The 49.5 would be the last. There the notes went 31 even offer. There's those 49 quarters. They trade 35 49 halves. I'm ready to get out at 49.25 if I don't get the halves. I got the halves pretty quickly. That's good. And now, got some momentum up here. But I'm out of the last piece right in here. They get above 50. See, here's the key here is we're 4 or 5 ticks above the POC. So people who sold the POC, they're really sweating. They don't like taking any more than 4 ticks of heat. You see the tempo increase. But remember, 50 even was the high of the last move. See, now I don't care if it continues to run up. You see all this volume in here? It could run up and I can get more out of it. I think this is obviously the ultimate target. The overnight highs and yesterday's or Friday's settlement, Friday's close, 52 even. But again, it goes back to effort. It was easier for me to withstand this rotation back lower because I was out for some of the scales. And then it was easier for me now to get it to go up to here. Now, if I'm looking for 51.5, 52.5 on the final scale, and that's a little bit more effort, is that you see it rotate around in here, and maybe it rotates all the way back down to your entry, and that creates a lot of effort. But I think for this market to remain strong, it's got to stay above that area, obviously. Just like earlier, it had to stay above. Just like earlier, it had to stay, if I squeeze this footprint, it had to stay above this high volume. But if you were just looking at a simple bar chart or whatever, you don't see that all kinds of volume came out on the way up right in there. You know, and a lot of people got long off the POC and they got shook off down there. Now look at this thing. It is doing exactly what we thought. It rotated off those 49 evens, 50 evens, come back, and now look at it. It won't stop.